Testing, testing. Te- Testing, one, two, three.
Chairman Figueroa, do you prefer sitting there or you want to go back to your?
No, I want to sit here so I can get
Okay, okay.
the direct light from the man up there.
All
So I
right.
can sign.
Well, I'm just asking because,
No, I like this. In fact, this is where I used to.
Oh, okay, okay.
This is where I grew up.
You grew up there, huh?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that goes to everyone. If you have any seating preference,
Well, Speaker, I think you should let the.
Said he wants to sit up there.
I'm sure.
Yeah, that's
always
where I
been
would.
the-
He only gave me 15 minutes.
No, well, you kind of extended it more than that, so. Well, that's why I asked him. No, I guess he liked it there when Senator Nathan was sitting next to him. I think
But
that was
you, Speaker, you notice that when he's supposed to move for items, he goes like that because I always bother him as a neighbor.
Hey, Labor, my Labor, why you ended up there?
Hey, Alec.
Chief Clerk, we're set. Hey, project lawyer, get out of there. The second day of the first regular session of the 20th Congress will now come to order. May we all rise for a moment of silent prayer. Chief Clerk, roll call.
Senator Alec, Senator Aritos, Senator Figuer, Senator Goland, Floor Leader Harper, Senator Conman, Senator Moses, my Vice Speaker Moses, Senator Neff, Senator Panuelo, Senator Perman, Senator Romulo, Senator Ursmal, Senator Willie, Speaker Simina.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, 14 members are present.
We have a full house this morning. We have quorum to transact business. For Leader Harper.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker, and to all honorable members, as well as all the observers of our session this morning. I move to dispense with the reading of our journal, if there is one.
It's moved and seconded that we dispense with the reading of our journal. Those in favor of the motion say yes. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. We now dispense with the reading of our journal. Next item, Chief Burke.
Mr. Speaker, for presidential communications, when receipt of those presidential communications which we receive after the last day of the last special session, and their numbers 19-586 through 19-609 and 20-1.
Okay, Chief Burke, assign those. Next item.
Item
Point of
6.
privilege, Mr. Speaker.
State your point, Floor Leader Harbert.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was just given a note from someone else regarding certain individual that I need to introduce this morning. And I am very much happy to once again introduce, if I'm not mistaken, the DCM of the U.S. Embassy, Mrs. Joanne Cummings. And along with him is, I don't know whether this person is working with the U.S. Embassy or working with the President Office, Balthazar Petrus. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Floor Leader Harbert. Chairman Panuelo, you have the floor.
Yes, Speaker, good morning to you and good morning to all members. Since our good floor leader has taken the opportunity to recognize individuals, I have a list that is passed on to me. Kindly allow me to introduce
Proceed.
these individuals, Mr. Speaker, who are here. We have Ms. Grace Amaraich and Mr. Tommy Tano, who are here on behalf of the Japan Embassy. We thank them for their diligence in being consistent, observing our session. Let's give them a round of applause, please. And we also have two constituents from SOCES. I'm going to help our good chairman of HSA. These are his constituents as well as mine, Speaker. Mr. Tasiano Helgen, SOCES constituent, and Kautencio Cantito, who are also good friends of mine. Let's recognize them, Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Panuelo, for doing the works on behalf of Chairman Berman. Any other point of privilege? Senator Coleman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Again, I would like to follow suit with my colleague also to recognize some important people who are in the cannery, most especially from my region of Southern Honduras. And I would like to recognize Ms. Joseph from Fairbairn and Samuel Chioda from
Southern Honduras. We'll keep it that way. Any other point of privilege? If none, let's continue. Chief Burke, next item.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, the next item is item 6, FSM Supreme Court Communications on receipt of numbers 19-42 and 19-43.
Chief Burke, assign those. Next item.
Item 7, Member Comment 20-01.
Assign those communications. Chief Burke, next item.
Item 8, Departmental Communications on receipt of numbers 19-96 and 19-97.
Thank you. Assign those. Next item.
Item 9, Agency or Governmental Authority Communications. We have one, and it's number 19-94.
Assign that. Chief Burke, next item.
Item 10, State Communications. We do not have any, Mr. Speaker.
Next item.
Item 11, State Supreme Court Communications. There are none.
Next item.
Item 12, Municipal or Town Communications. None, Mr. Speaker.
Next item.
Item 13, Foreign Government Communications. There are none also, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, order of the day. Item 14.
Standing committee reports, there are none, Mr. Speaker.
Item 15.
We have a special committee report, number 20-1 by the Honorable Vice Speaker Moses, Chairman Committee to wait on the President.
Okay, Vice Speaker Moses.
Thank you, Speaker, from the gallery. Your committee to wait on the President met this morning with the Vice President. What has been distributed this morning.
Short recess. You can just move for adoption of the, because since it's already written out, make a motion for Congress back in session. Continue, Vice Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that we adopt Special Committee Report number 20-1.
Second.
It's moved and seconded that Congress adopt Special Committee Report number 20-1. Discussion. Vice Speaker, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I stated earlier, we met with the Vice President, myself along with Chairman Golan, Chairman Willie, and Chairman Figuer. And we were presented with a bullet point of 4 items. The first one was a supplemental budget, which we were informed that it's forthcoming, and it will be less than the reported 1.2 million of projections that the Secretary of Finance informed us this morning. Second item was pending bills and resolutions that will be resubmitted, and action was not taken on during the 19th Congress. And this mainly is the corporations bill is the major one of those bills that was submitted. And the third issue was the suspension of the public infrastructure grants. And we're still trying to clarify the circumstances of the suspension, and the answers that were given were not really satisfactory to fully understand what is going on. The fourth one is the CIP for the 2018 Micronesian Games that will be held in Yap. And after discussions, it was suggested that this could be put on hold until the fiscal 2018 budget. It's basically in that order, and we concluded by asking the Office of the President through the Vice President that we openly communicate with each other on information so that Congress is not left out of the loop. And it's basically, that's the summary of the report. It was a very short meeting, and not too much was really discussed, other than some infrastructure projects, and including the transportation ships in Chuk and Yap. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Vice Speaker Moses. Any other comments from members of that committee to wait on the President? Any discussions, comments from members?
Speaker.
Chairman Berman.
Yeah, thank you, Speaker. Good morning to you, members, and all that is observing our session this morning. My question will be still, so what do we do on the suspension of awarding of the public infrastructure grant assistance? I mean, if they're not giving us answers that what we want to hear, so where do we go? What's our next move?
Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Chairman Berman. Yes, Chairman Wally,
Yeah.
you have an answer to his question?
Yes.
Well,
Thank
proceed.
you. Good morning to you and members. I think the answer was provided by TNC Chairman, saying that there is a proposed forthcoming meeting with departments. Maybe you should elaborate on that instead of me.
Chairman Golan, you care to enlighten Chairman Berman?
Thank
further
you.
on that?
Thank you, Speaker. Good morning to all my good colleagues. The answer to my good chairman, part of the oversight and follow-up with the awaiting committee, we urging the President's office to move as quick as possible. So the only solution of this is we have to wait for the arrangement that already set for June 1st. That's the meeting. But what the committee on President, we asked the President if they can move faster. So all the information that provided to them, they will have to provide it to Congress in order for us to be updated. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Golan. So in sum, we will have to wait until June 1st, and whether we will receive a clear answer or not, that's a different story.
Well, Speaker, if I may.
Yes, continue.
No, I was in that meeting for the TNC meeting, and I was hoping that because that the urgent of the matter, that when they return, they should brief the Vice President, so he actually know what members were asking that day, if they can act earlier than June 1st. That means that when they went back to President's office, still nothing happened. That's the reason why I raised the question, because if this suspension of this grant is that serious, they should be really talking about it, but I guess they're not doing that. And that's why I raised the question, because according to the report,
Short
they didn't get
recess.
it. Thank you.
Speaker.
Well, we'll just have to wait until June 1st. There's nothing we can do as far as the official proceed. Chairman Golan, we're in recess.
Thank you, Speaker. I know all members want to hear and know what's the status, how do they move. So what we try to push on presidents is to move as quick as possible rather than wait for the June 1st. That's our request. So the schedule is already set for June 1st. So we try to see if there is any possible way for them to move as quick as possible. Thank you.
Speaker.
Mr. Speaker.
Speaker.
Chairman Fakir, you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was sitting there, and the committee did bring up the matter. Although I kind of sense from the Vice President that he didn't want us to discuss and speculate on things. They want to continue looking into the matter and report to Congress as soon as they find the actual factual information, rather than just sit around and speculate. Just like when we had the Committee on TC&I had a hearing, we were just talking about things in general. There was no, but it's really a concern that the Committee 2A raised with the Vice President. Maybe the President knows what's going on, but he had not been or had the time to share with the Vice President. Although the secretaries and cabinet members were present, I'm pretty sure they want to wait until they were able to get all the facts together before making any reveal of those facts.
Thank you, Chairman Fakir. I believe that's the best way forward. We wait for them to get all the information, and then instead of coming with less than factual, less than truthful information to mislead Congress. So I hope that's okay with you, Chairman Berman. We can keep it as it is. I know, Chairman Rosenwald, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday or this morning's meeting and the one joint meeting, I believe was on Monday or Tuesday this week, were not the first time that the discussion was held on the issue. I recall a meeting over there in the Central Conference Room where this issue came up. And that was in, I believe, in March, maybe April. And I cannot help but remember when I was troubled with the facts that some employees under the PSS system were promoted in ranks, especially with the National Police. And for years, they didn't get their salary adjustment. And they kept telling me that they were looking into. And I'm tired, sick and tired of hearing this looking into. And I indicated that to the Department of Justice. How much time can we? It's just around the corner. So it really surprised me, like someone said, after that joint meeting earlier this week, that nothing seemed to have been done, except for setting a deadline of June 1st, when this Congress is supposed to recess or adjourn on May 30. Is it done that way so we won't be around to raise issue with them after the meeting? I'm beginning to see CNN replayed in this chamber and in this government as what I watch on CNN happening elsewhere in this world. So, Mr. Speaker, with all due respect to, and it's not a criticism of the committee to wait, but on this August party, as we had pledged during our caucus, let's recommit ourselves to and dedicate ourselves to improving things. And improving things also entail having things done on time. These resolutions that are going to be forthcoming, why wait until next week to bring them when they already know that those things were going to die with the 19th Congress? If they were that important, they would have been working on them to submit on the first day of the 20th Congress. Why wait until next week? I guess it's just the way this morning started. I have to do certain words, but just as bad. When I hear, so maybe that's part of the problem, Mr. Speaker, and I'm sorry I had to maybe kick a dog by being mad at a cat, but
Thank you.
I'm glad I'm doing it during recess. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Rushmore. You can kick all the dogs you want to kick. Yeah, I believe there are methods to this thing about looking.
Well, that's okay, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker.
We've been trying to wake up our leaders, but they're still sleeping.
Speaker.
Okay. Yes.
Here.
Chairman Romulo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me also associate and register my concern with the previous speakers. I think this Congress body can do something as a separate entity of the government or the branch of government. And I cannot comprehend to wait until June 1st, because this is a serious matter that will affect the whole federation. I think we need to look into and at least give bullets to the team that will go and meet with the U.S. counterparts. The way I look at it, if we don't do anything, U.S. will think that we don't think that it is serious. And I don't think we can afford to have our infrastructure fund stalled or suspended from now until we don't know. And we don't know what's going to be after June 1st. Would they be willing to lift up? I think during the hearing, we know that one factor of the issue is known to us. And it's just that It's been under investigation. They cannot disclose. After the hearing, one of the witnesses came by and say yes. But why didn't he say it during the hearing? So we all know. So I think I'm thinking of drafting a resolution requesting President if he can suspend the Lions contract until the issue had resolved, or until the result of the investigation. President doesn't have to suspend it, but at least
Speaker.
give US that we are serious and we are considering an effort, we are making an effort to help that we get our infrastructure funding. Thank you.
Mr.
Thank
Speaker.
you, Chairman Romulo. Let's not kind of get ahead of things. I believe there are procedures to follow. We're not dealing with, if it's just executive branch that we're dealing with, yes, but we're dealing with a partner
Speaker.
government, and we need to understand and give them this way of resolving things. The meeting is set for June 1st. I don't know whether we can affect that by pushing it up or anything, but that's what I understand have been officially said. So for us, we can cry all we want, but the point is these meetings have been set by two governments, and we need to keep it that way. Yes, Chairman Gulen?
Thank you, Speaker. If we look at the communication from the DOI or OIA, it's only 4 days away from the date of communicating on the suspension of our infrastructure. I remember the movie, the title of the movie is Rush Hour. But through the protocol channel, I think we need to wait for the executive to do their role and give us all the information. We cannot just suspending Lions without the fact, because in the other hand, we might end up lawsuit against Lions, or Lions will file a lawsuit against us. So we need to be man enough to sit on our chair and then patient for the information that executive should provide it to us. I know everybody say, oh, this and this and that, but we need to see the fact. Thank you, Speaker.
Speaker.
Speaker,
I think that
we
would be the
adopted the
safest way
report?
to do it. Yes, Senator.
Have we adopted the report?
No, we're still in recess. We're discussing that
we're in
we
recess.
went into recess, so we're in recess at this
Speaker,
time.
let's move on. I don't think we need to mess
Yes,
around.
I'll allow Senator Alick first, then we can come back.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning to you and members and all those that are observing our session this morning. I move that we adopt the report
I move we go back into
in
session.
session.
We're still in recess, so is that what you want to do? We can come back and go back into a session. All right, so if that's not, if everybody has kind of said what they want during recess, now let's go back. Congress back in session. We're still on discussion of the Special Committee
Mr.
Report
Speaker.
20-1. Any further discussion? Chairman Figueroa?
Yeah, I think the committee, under the circumstances, did a terrific job, an excellent job in doing what it can in the short period of time. And I just want to highlight one issue that I shouldn't have brought it under the circumstances, but I did it because it's really something that my state really needs, and and I think the chairman did alluded to it about transportation. I brought up perhaps because I know that the president had been arranging with the state of Yap to station one of the patrol boat in Yap to service that portion of the federation and toward the east, toward Truk. So again, the famous phrase came out. We'll look into it. So with that, I move that we adopt the committee report.
There's a motion for the previous question. That's not debatable, so debate is closed. Let's vote. Those in favor of the adoption of Special Committee Report 20-1, say yes. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Special Committee Report number 20-1 is adopted by Congress. Next report. Chief Clerk.
There are none for special committee reports.
Next item.
Item 16, assignment of measures and communications. We have a referral sheet number 20-1.
Chairman and members of committees, take a look at the referral sheet and for your planning purposes. Next item.
Item 17, unfinished business. None, Mrs. Speaker.
Continue, Chief Clerk.
Item 18, bill calendar. There are none. Item 19, resolution calendar. None.
Mr. Speaker, can we go back to bill calendar? We're so quick.
Bill calendar?
Yes.
Why? You have any bill to introduce?
Utan bill already signed. I need to.
Hey, it's only the second day. Why are you saying?
No, because
just
this
because
one
all
is-
these constituents of yours are around and you want to show them that you're working hard?
I don't have a
Okay,
copy.
we'll come back and again go back if there's. Congress back in session. Chief Clerk, next item.
19? Yes, item 20, introduction of bills and resolutions.
Members, if you have any measure to introduce, pass them on to Chief Clerk. If there's no objection, we'll go back to the bill calendar, item 18. We're now back on item 18. Chairman Colon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me just consult this with my good chairman on Ways and Means that this bill is merely only the allotted section.
So recess.
Short recess. Did you consult with Chairman Figueroa? Consult with him and see what he says.
Is the bill in the package? Huh?
The bill is referring to is 20-1.
Where?
20-1, it's in the bottom.
they can look it up, because we will do only the first reading. Final reading might come Monday, Tuesday, depending on our next session date. Okay? Yes, Rosemont?
Yeah, while in recess, no relative of this bill, but on an issue that I thought we usually do during first few days of a session, especially during this session, May session. Are we going to have a meeting after this session, right after this session?
We will. We will have one. Yeah, we're coming to that. I'm going to announce. Okay, so why don't we do his bill, since he thinks it's urgent, and if there will be further amendments by members, you can do it on second and final reading, okay? Congress back in session. We're still on item 18, the bill calendar. Chairman Cullen, make your motion for
Thank you,
placement.
Mr. Speaker. I move that we withdraw 20-01 on the order of business for today. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Any second? It's moved and seconded that Congressional Bill number 20-1 be withdrawn and placed on the bill calendar for action. Those in favor of the motion say yes. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. CP number 20-01 is now placed on the bill calendar for action. Chairman Figueroa, motion for passage.
Move for the passage of the said bill on second reading.
It's moved and seconded that CP number 20-01 be passed by Congress on first reading. Discussion? Any discussion? If none, if there is no objection, discussion is closed. So let's vote by roll call of members. First reading.
Senator Alick. Senator Aritos. Senator Figueroa. Senator Goland. Floor Leader Harper. Senator Conman. Vice Speaker Moses. Senator Ned. Senator Panuelo. Senator Perman. Senator Romulo. Senator Ismail. Senator Wally. Speaker Semina.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all the 40 members voted in favor.
For that reason, CP number 20-01 has passed Congress on first reading. Next bill.
There are none, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, if there's no objection, we'll go back down to miscellaneous communications. Chief Clerk.
For miscellaneous communications, item 21, there are none, Mr. Speaker.
Next item is miscellaneous business. Do you have any?
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Vice Speaker Moses.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to clarify when we were discussing the infrastructure grant suspension. It was mentioned that there was a set date for a meeting in June. Just to clarify that there is no set meeting. It was sent as a request, and the suggested date was in June. I forget the exact date that was suggested. And it was suggested, and they're not sure if they're actually going to meet then, because there are several unknowns. They don't know who they're supposed to meet, and they don't know why the grants were suspended. And so right now, all we have is a suggested date, but there's no real set date for a meeting in June, just for clarification.
Thank you, Vice Speaker Moses. That's our understanding. There was a proposed meeting date or meeting, and so far we haven't officially heard of any response to that from our partner. Any other miscellaneous business? Yes,
Speaker.
Senator Alic.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank the Vice Speaker for clarifying some of those information that we need to be aware of. But at this point, I just want to express my concern of the way the whole issue has been handled. As indicated in our oversight hearing, with a number of departments represented, especially by the secretaries, after that meeting, there was really no clear picture given to us. And even the report that given to us now, there's still more uncertainties that is given to us that really we don't know what's going to happen. In the oversight hearing, there was an indication saying that the ongoing projects will not be affected. And I've been receiving also calls in relation to that category of project that we don't even know the assurance of that, whether they will continue. Also in that oversight hearing, there was an indication of a closed meeting for the reason of the suspension. And we were not even told exactly what was that reason of the closed meeting. And it was suspected that's in relation to the suspension of the, not to the suspension, but to the office in Honolulu being raided. And I'm also sure that some of us, or most of us, learned as of yesterday further actions that create more uncertainties of what's happening. And the states are not aware of really on their project what would be able to pursue even within the period that is given to us for the next meeting. There is no assurance that even within now and the end of the fiscal year, these projects will be able to move on with the suspension. And that's really concerned me, because our people at the states level will be affected. Nothing is in writing to them explaining exactly what's happening. They're in the dark, so as us. So I just want to express my serious concern of the way the whole issue has been handled. As I mentioned earlier, even yesterday, things are moving away from our offices here, and that concerned me. So I accept the report that for us to wait until the next meeting. And as just mentioned, we're not very sure of that date. So we can track on in terms of doing projects in the States. And I don't know how we're going to answer our people when they continue asking us. So something must be done to make sure that these things are rolling for the benefit of our people at the States level. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Alic. You're correct. We can speculate all we want. We can ask all we want. But I guess there is an official procedure of how we go about these matters. And at least the executive branch, through Secretary Robert, they have initiated that by going through the procedure of requesting a meeting.
Speaker.
And we should wait for the result of it. I'm sure they now understand the urgency and the seriousness of this subject by Congress. We have indicated to them in no uncertain terms. So I believe they know how serious we are in trying to address this very important issue to our infrastructure development in the FSM. Yes,
Point of
Chairman
privilege.
Quillen.
Thank you, Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in the communication dated on the April 27, speaking on the ITP, that our national government didn't follow through the requirements of the ITP. Some of the issue that was raised from us, and that's one of the things that I was kind of worried that if we move to overstep whatever that process is supposed to be, then we might end up things. That's why, Mr. Speaker, with all due respect, that I hope members should understand the process. Let's allow the executive to do their part, then we know where from. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Quillen. Any further discussion? Yes.
Point of privilege.
Miscellaneous. For Leader Harbor, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have one or two very minor miscellaneous to make. First of all, I like to say on behalf of all members of this 20th Congress, our great and special appreciation to our staff for all the hard work that they have put in the activities of the opening yesterday. I think our opening yesterday was very smooth, and especially the food that were served were to our satisfaction. So I would really want to say our gratefulness to our staff and those who have really worked hard to make it successful. And besides that, I also wish to express my appreciation to you, Speaker, for the occasion last night. I think everybody were drowned with wine and beers and all that. So we really appreciate that too. Second minor miscellaneous that I like to make, I want to share something that I learned from CNN by watching CNN all these days. There seems to be a new terminology or vocabulary that has been used in White House. This terminology is called alternative facts. And I hope the executive will give us real facts after June 1st or beginning of June, instead of giving us alternative facts. Because if they give us alternative facts, then there will be more question as to the suspension of the infrastructure projects. But if they give us real facts, I think we will be all satisfied, and that will be the end of all our questions and problems. So thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, for Leader Harbor. Actually, I feel that the preparations by our staff for things were not quite satisfactory, but I will deal with the staff myself on those things. But for the alternative facts, I thought our executive branch started that, and CNN kind of just copied it. But that remains to be seen. Okay, Chairman Romulo, miscellaneous business. You
Thank
have
you.
one?
Yes, I have a point of privilege.
Okay, proceed. Point of privilege.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have been just handed a note, and I wish to beg the indulgence of this body to recognize a very important person to this government who is in the gallery observing our session this morning, and our very own the Secretary of the Department of Justice, the Honorable Secretary Joseph Scallan.
Oh, thank you for
Point of
reminding me,
privilege,
because
Speaker.
we have a meeting right after the session, so I will wait for him. Any other miscellaneous business? Chairman Quillen.
Thank you. I hope our secretary is not to cut their hair like Filipino style. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Short recess. Okay, what's the plan?
In recess, I want to congratulate the FSM. For the past years, I thought we have been followers. We just follow. But for the first time, I think we are a leader. And the alternative facts issue brought up by Lolita, and you correctly pointed out, Mr. Speaker, I think we're leading for the first time, leading the United States. They're following in our footsteps.
Yes, thank you for pointing that out. But let's talk about our plan for the rest of the, after today. Do we meet tomorrow or we recess?
Well, we're yet to meet. Why not?
Tomorrow is Saturday, and
So what?
that's the feeling of our very hardworking chairman of money. He wanted to do something tomorrow.
Yeah, let's meet tomorrow. I know my colleague over there, my friend.
Can we, Speaker?
His bill passed on
Speaker.
second reading.
No. What you propose is, what if members want to tag along to the bill that I just passed?
Well, we can do it today, and tomorrow you get your bill passed. Sunday will be signed into law.
Can we allow members to look over this weekend and then maybe Monday?
We can always defer your bill if you don't want it done tomorrow. But,
Monday.
It's up to.
Monday, come back
Okay, we
Monday.
have tomorrow, we have Monday. Any other alternative fact?
Tomorrow
Okay,
is...
you're the expert on alternative fact.
Yeah, tomorrow is a working day. I mean, it's, we call it amanata. That's when we do things. So,
Yeah, it's a working
I
day,
agree.
actually.
Yes.
Culturally, it's our working day. So while our citizens are out, will be going out fishing, going out into taro patches on the mountains, harvesting or farming, we can do our stuff too, huh? Right, Chairman Risimo? Is that what you're saying?
Let's
Okay.
vote. Let's vote, Speaker.
Yes.
Let's
So,
vote Monday.
We have Monday and we have tomorrow. So let's show hand. Tomorrow, race. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Monday, race. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a tie. Oh, 6. You voted twice, so your vote doesn't count, Chairman Fullen. You voted twice. That's illegal. Void. Well, it looks like the Monday has the vote. Chairman Fakir.
Thank you.
Okay, so we come back, we'll do announcements, and then Floor Leader will do his stuff, okay? Congress back in session. Next item, Chief Burke.
Announcements, Mr. Speaker.
Announcements. Let's start with Chairman Willie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On Tuesday at 1 o'clock, your Committee on External Affairs will have a oversight hearing with the department. This will be at the hearing room, and it's going to include anything and everything under the sky. He said under the sky. So.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Mr. Speaker.
Chairman Willie. There is announcement for Tuesday, so I presume Chief Clerk is working on the membership of that committee. So take note, those who are interested to join Chairman Willie on EXAF Tuesday. You have a hearing. Chairman Fakir.
No announcement.
Thank you. Chairman Burnett.
No announcement.
Chairman Romulo.
No announcement.
Chairman Panuelo.
Speaker, your Committee on R&D is calling an oversight with Norma Monday at 8:30. We, as the members, noticed the trend of our revenue projection for our fisheries, and it has been declining. You can notice that from 2015 So we're talking in the tune of 10 million or a little less. Let's hear from the horse's mouth. We're calling the executive director to come in and give us a briefing on that. So Monday, 8:30, I invite members of the R&D committee to join. Thank you, and those who are interested.
Thank you, Chairman Paniwelo. Just like Chairman Wally, I'm sure Chief Clerk will notify those who will be members of that of the R&D committee. So take note of that hearing. It's an important one. Concerns Norma, our important agency. Okay, Chairman Cullen.
Speaker, short announcement.
Okay, no announcement from Chairman Cullen. Chairman Roosevelt.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Education will start its looking into things, anything and everything under the sun with the Department of Education, but most especially on the restructuring of the department, where their office space is, and scholarship, and of course the budget. So it'll be for the first time we're doing oversight, undersight, and budget review, all in one. It will also continue on Wednesday. I take it that the Chief Clerk is going to duplicate the schedule of meetings for the committees, and that it would be the same. So, being presumptuous, I announced that we meet at 2:30, what was education allocated time. I also urge the delegations to submit names of their members on that committee, so we can perhaps, if the names are submitted by then, to organize the committee. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Chairman Roosevelt. I'm sure Chief Clerk is working on the membership assignments to the respective committees. I believe they will probably come out today.
Speaker.
Let's just make sure that.
Can you at least instruct the chief clerk to consult with the committee before issuing the timeout, the schedule of committee meetings? I want to move my committee meeting into the evening so we can meet until we
Well, Chief Clerk, take note of the concern by General Figure, see if the allotment of meeting times be accommodated for him. Okay. If there is no further from General Figure, Vice Speaker Moses, you have an announcement? Senator Ned? Senator Alik? Senator Arias? Senator Coleman? Okay, if none, no further business. Just a short announcement. We will have a brief get-together right after session to plan out our session, okay? All right, Floor Leader Harper.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As we have already agreed upon, I move that we go into recess until Monday at 10 a.m.
It's moved and seconded that Congress stand in recess until this coming Monday at 10 in the morning. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Congress now stands in recess until 10 o'clock Monday.
Aritos and Romulo, can we just meet at my office before we get together?
see you later.